Hi, I'm Corey, and you're watching Mesa Makes. So today on Mesa Makes, we're going to be making floating shelves for my laundry room. Going to be a nice little storage area for some knickknacks, and most importantly to get those Tide Pods and the dryer sheets off of the actual dryer and kind of clean the place up a little bit. So the tools you're going to need to do this project are a circular saw or a miter saw, depending on how big your blade is. I have a 10-inch blade, so some of those bigger cuts on the 1x12s, I needed to use that circular saw to get all the way through without having to flip it and match those cuts up. You're also going to need a drill driver. If you just have a drill driver, that'll work. I really like the impact to drive my screws in, so I use that as well as a drill bit to pre-drill some of those holes.
Okay, now like any project, to get started, you're gonna have to measure the area where you're gonna put this shelf. And a big important one on this one is to mark out where all your studs are. These shelves appear like they're floating, but they still do have to be anchored to the wall, so make sure you know where your studs are located. Once you have that measurement, go ahead and cut a 2x4 the same length that you want your shelf to be, and cut like 5 footers, depending on how long your length is, for the shelf to sit on. I cut mine 9 3/4 to get a 12-inch overall shelf. Now you're gonna test fit your piece and mark the location on the piece where all the studs are so you don't put a cleat in the wrong spot. Once you have that laid out, go ahead and start pre-drilling all your holes for your cleat pieces. You're gonna clamp these on and you're gonna drill them in with the screws. It's gonna look like a big letter E, and this is what you want. This is your skeleton frame for the other pieces to get attached to. This is what actually is holding onto the wall. The rest is just there for looks. It's important to make sure you don't put a cleat where your stud will be, otherwise you will not be able to anchor it to the wall. Next, you're gonna bring it back in the room and you're gonna put it up against the wall. If you did a nice tight cut, it's gonna be a nice tight fit. Go ahead and line it up where you want it, put a level on it, sink some screws in at all those stud marks, and your shelf is partway done. Once that's up, you're gonna cut your pieces to match. I used 2 1x12s and a 1x6 for the front cap. Cut everything to length, and if you're making 2 of the shelves, just double up your cuts. Once everything is cut, go ahead and stain it however you want. If you want to leave it that bare color, great, that's fine. These are staying inside, so I didn't really need to do a whole lot to them, but my wife really likes the look of the stained wood. Thing to note on this is only stain the side that's going to be seen to save yourself some time. So I let these guys dry overnight. Then I went and put a clear lacquer over the top. Not completely necessary. It is going to be indoors, but it's going to be in a potentially wet location, so I want to make sure they were protected from anything like laundry soap or anything else dropping on them, just for easier cleanup. Once those dry again, go ahead and bring them inside and lay them out. These are where the clamps come in. Clamp them to your frame that's attached to the wall and just screw the pieces into itself. It will help with anything that is bowed. It will suck it to the frame that is on the wall. Once that's done, you're going to take that end cap and just hammer it in with some nails. The nails are obviously not the strongest way to hold this thing on here, but I like the look of the nails. It kind of gives it that farmhouse finish and keeps you from splitting the wood as if you were to use a screw. Go ahead and repeat the same thing on the bottom. You know, however many shelves you're doing, just keep doing it, and then you're all done.
All in all, we have a great little project here. The thing I like most about this is that you can scale it to whatever size you want. So I will put dimensions in the description for how I did it, but obviously my laundry room is not the same as everybody's, so whatever works for you. If you're trying to fill a wall, obviously measure from wall to wall. If you're going to just put one up, make sure you have studs behind where you're hanging this up. That's the crucial thing about this. I've had a bunch of people ask me to put some in some nurseries for them or in some kids' rooms. The other thing about that is make sure you have some good anchors on those studs, especially if there's going to be kids around. You don't want them climbing on it, and I know I did that when I was a kid. So make sure you anchor those to a stud or with some sort of anchor point, however you got to do it, whatever works for you. But make sure you go ahead and do that. So that's going to wrap it up here. I really like doing these shelves. I've done them in our bathroom. I followed a Pinterest set of plans pretty religiously and followed it to the T. It was a little overkill on this design that I did. Being put all the way up against the wall, you're not going to need those side caps. So if you're trying to save a little bit of cost, you don't need end caps on it because your walls are going to be your end caps. So that can save some of the cost, and it's going to make it a little quicker to build as well. This is the first time I've ever done these shelves like this. Like I said, I've done them in that box style where you kind of slide them on like a drawer. I was by myself this weekend, so I decided to do it all by myself, and this was the way to kind of get around not having an extra set of hands. So if you're on your own or you don't really have a crew that can work with you, this is a great way to get some good looking shelves without having to ask the whole neighborhood for help. So it's been a while since I did my last video, sorry for that. I had a couple of things going on personally. I got married a couple weekends ago, and I was doing a lot of projects, but with the deadline that we had for the wedding, literally all the projects were for the wedding. I made an arch, I made some backdrops, I did all kinds of stuff, but pulling out the camera and filming was not on my agenda at the time. I had to get these things done, and so I apologize for that, but we will get back into doing some videos. Hope you guys liked it. Remember, like, comment, subscribe for more videos. I know you guys are wanting some of the 3D printing videos, so I'm working on getting some stuff going. I just gotta find a way to film my actual 3D printer so you guys can see the process. Yeah, again, comment any ideas you guys think for future projects. I love getting the feedback from you guys. And yeah, that's about it. So remember, it's not about having time, it's about making time. You guys take care.